Comes a point where we need to just stop pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. This is a quote from Desmond Tutu. Ultimately, if your goal is better health, we need to stop treating the symptoms and find out why you're having them. Good morning, I'm Amanda Golightly from Align Natural Health, and today we're talking all about toxins and where they come from and the impact they have on our health. So where did they come from? They are everywhere around us. They come from the air we breathe, they're in the water we drink and bathe in, the food that we eat every day, household cleaners, nonstick pans. They can be on furniture, carpet, personal care products, and they can come from plastics. So what kind of chemicals could we be dealing with when it comes to that? It could be chlorine. And where can we find chlorine? Chlorine can be in the water we drink, if you drink tap water. If you like to go swimming in a pool that we put chlorine in to keep it clean, it could be that. Also, fluoride. Fluoride is something, again, that's in our water. It can be in the toothpaste that you use every day. Other things like glyphosate, that's usually it's in a lot of things, but it can be used in a chemical called Roundup. It's just basically the other name for it. So that's used on treating your lawns. Didn't realize how bad nonstick pans can be. Yeah, it's especially when they start breaking up and coming off. That's stuff you're going to start consuming. So it's something to really be aware of, the kind of cookware that you're using to heat up your food and make your food, because whatever that pan is made out of will leach into your food. So that's something really good to investigate and look into. There are also BPAs that can come from bottles or plastics. So these are other things to just be aware of. So metals, this is another thing that can be in our environment. Metals like mercury, and that could be your amalgams in your teeth. Has anyone ever seen Alice in Wonderland? And they always speak of the Mad Hatter. And that's because back in the day when they used to make hats, they used mercury in that process. And that led to him basically becoming the Mad Hatter, and that was leaching into his brain and causing problems. And that's where he got the name from. Aluminum is another one. I know Who Out There uses antiperspirant. That's something that can be contained in most of those, unless you're looking specifically for one that doesn't contain it. Arsenic is one that could be, I believe, in rice and certain foods. Radioactive metals is another thing that we can deal with. So toxins why do we care about toxins? Toxins in our system basically open the door for bugs. And if you think of the door as your immune system, toxins are basically putting their foot in the door and allowing, that's weakening our immune system and allowing things into our system like parasites, bacteria, and viruses. And has anyone ever played Red Rover as a kid? Anyone remember that game? Basically, I know after a while I got banned at my school, but I don't know if anyone else experienced that. Basically, the kids would line up together in a row and you'd all hold hands, and you'd want to basically create this solid foundation that when kids from the other team ran at you, they would try and break through your arms with yourself and the other kid. And I don't know if you experienced it where maybe the other kid didn't want to hold your hand, or they just thought maybe you had cooties or whatever. This is where bacteria, parasites, and viruses, they hone in on the weaknesses that we have. And this is a prime example of the kid that won't hold your hand and have a strong front. This is where they're going to target. They're going to get into your system any way they can. So this is another reason we want to handle toxins in our system. And how are we exposed to these toxins otherwise? Could be toxic jobs. So what kind of jobs do people have? I don't know if you want to put a comment in there for me and let me know where you're working. Some toxic jobs could be pest control. It could be a painter. Obviously, a lot of fumes from paint go into your system there, and different solvents and things. Firefighters, I can't even imagine all the different types of smoke that they have the opportunity to potentially breathe in. Farmers, military, factory workers, hairstylists. They're using different hair dyes and different chemicals to style hair and stuff like that. Nail techs as well, who hasn't gone into a place to get their nails done, and you can instantly smell the difference in the air walking into that salon. Police, mechanics, and construction. I personally have worked in construction over 13 years and have been come in contact with many different things, metals, solvents, and seen places where there are areas of asbestos and dust that is probably older than me, and who the heck knows what's in that. PCBs, stuff like that. There's so many different things that I've come in contact with personally. So I know that the jobs are a big impact as far as toxins in our lives. My past life as a photographer before digital had a lot of chemicals. Yeah, and the whole development process, that makes sense. All the chemicals that you would have to use with that. It's a very interesting one. How about hobbies? What kind of hobbies do you enjoy doing? You can also throw that in the comments if you'd like. This might be another place that we don't even think about, where we could actually have exposure. Maybe you like painting. I've already mentioned a painter, but personally, if you like being creative and you've got a canvas in front of you and you just kind of let your creativity flow and you're using paint in that process, that's somewhere where you can have toxins enter your body, especially maybe if you like finger paints. So that's something to be aware of. Playing golf. I mentioned glyphosate earlier. That is something they like to treat the grass with. Obviously, they want a pristine conditions. And when you go to a golf course, obviously the grass is just so, like, the place looks beautiful and there's not a weed in sight. And this is why, because they are using chemicals and pesticides to make sure it looks that way. Playing soccer, it basically is the same thing. They use glyphosate Roundup on fields to keep it looking well, right? And that's another area that I've been in for a number of years. I played soccer and been on many fields. A lot of them have been turf, and that's something different too, but that's something to be aware of. Even going to the beach, laying on the beach, because usually if you're going to the beach or being in the sun for long periods, you're putting sunscreen on your body. So depending on what brand you're using, they could contain toxins as well. Swimming, again, coming back to the water that you're in. If it's like a local at-home pool, you could be using chlorine to make sure it actually stays clean. And there could be parasites if you're swimming at a lake or somewhere where there could be that exposure. I was a big time into horses as a kid, and when we were constantly spraying the horses with bug sprays and stuff, wow, crazy. Essential oils and diffusers. I'm not sure what that is. I might have missed something there. Electricians dealing with heavy duty FR clothing. Yes, I agree, because that's me as well. Yeah, there's lots of chemicals in the clothing, and I know sometimes my skin does get a little red from that. It's a thing, but we need to find out ways that we can handle that and deal with that, getting that stuff out of our system. All right, so how does the body deal with toxins? This is a good question. Ultimately, we want to move chemicals out of our system. And the best way to do that always, always, always is through the bowels. This is the number one way we want to detox from our system. And it only becomes a problem when this is blocked, or maybe our body is overwhelmed and we're not able to move things out from the bowel. And when that happens, our body's efficient and wants to move things out as quickly as possible. So when the bowel's not an option, it's going to look to other places like the kidney, lungs, and skin. So did you know that acne, especially in adults, is often a sign that your body could be overwhelmed with toxins? And if your bowels are not working properly, or the body is trying to detox too quickly, this can lead to breakouts or even little cysts forming on the skin. So who out there has experienced skin issues? Who's experienced acne or something related, maybe itchiness, rashes, something like that? Who out there has experienced that? Anyone? Like, I know I have over the years. I've definitely experienced acne and rashes and itchiness in at least my hands as well. So that's something to kind of signal you and say, okay, something's not working right in the body. We need to figure out why. What is it? and how to handle that. So what happens when the body toxic load becomes too much? When we can't move out toxins fast enough, the body has to do something with that to protect us. So that one of the things that the body will do is it'll store toxins in the fat cells. And this is the way it protects you. So if maybe you have a little more weight than you would like and you just can't seem to get rid of it, this could be a reason why. When there's too much in the body, it could also create cysts and tumors. And this, again, it encapsulates this stuff because it doesn't belong in your system. So this is the best way that it can figure out to protect you from it. And when the body is overwhelmed and just can't get this stuff out, this is when symptoms are going to occur. And they could be rashes, they could be itchiness, eczema. You could experience constipation, bloating, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, brain fog, fatigues, and headaches. Now, I don't know if anyone's experienced any of these symptoms because they are awful to have. I mean, there's some key ones that are probably worse than others, depending on if you have to leave the house. Diarrhea is never a fun one. And even if you're just going out through your day and you're just trying to do the processes of work or whatever, and brain fog is just kicking in, it just impacts everything that you're doing. Let's see. Comments here. I've definitely had skin stuff and have no idea why at the time. Yeah, and we can help with that. We can find out the cause and figure out what's needed. I do have a couple of great resources here for people out there. I don't know if anyone's heard of the Think Dirty app. This is one that I have on my phone as well, and you can actually scan products and see what are the chemicals in there, and it kind of gives you a bit of a rating. I think it's a color rating specifically. EWG.org, the Environmental Working Group, is a great website to go to. They have a extension of that. So if you put EWG Skin Deep, this is one where you can search for products as well, personal care products, shampoos, conditioners, makeup, stuff like that. You can see how they score for toxins and make better decisions as far as what products you want to use and put on your body, especially if it's a topical product or something for your hair. Our skin is the largest organ we have, and anything you put on the skin is going to absorb into our system. And then our body has to figure out how to handle that and how to get rid of that. They also have information on food, some of the good foods you can look at as far as chemicals and pesticides. And like the Dirty Dozen, I believe, is one, and the Clean 15 is the other. They all have that stuff. Now, for people living in the U.S., they do have, if you want to put in, I believe it's your own, not postal code, your area code, whatever that is that I can't think of. You can look and see what's in your water in your local area. Unfortunately, I haven't come across anything for Canada yet, but we'll keep an eye out for that. But it's a great resource for anybody, no matter where you live, just to kind of get an idea of what's in the food you're eating, what's in the products you're using, stuff like that, right? So toxins is one of the 6 main causes of health issues that we deal with at Align Natural Health. And we use a technique, quantum nutrition testing, in order to find the cause. So whatever symptoms you're dealing with, whatever things that are affecting your day-to-day life, we can use this and find out what's the cause for it. Why is this happening? This is something that is crucial to ask all the time. Why is this happening to you? And also, we'd love to hear what's going on. We want to get the full history of what's going on with your system, what you've experienced before, because this can always help us in helping you. We want to find out what's going on with you, what your concerns are. So we basically have a 2-appointment system initially that the first appointment is when we find out your history, your family history, if you've had any surgeries, basically go through whatever your concerns are, and we get all that information from you. And in between that, then we would test you, find out what organs and glands are working optimally and what it's not. So it's basically we go through your whole body and find out what's going on with it. And once we have that information, we can figure out what the cause is and what's needed in order to help that and get your body back into balance. And appointment 2 then would be basically we take all that information that we got from the testing, we put it into a report, we send that to you before your appointment, and then we go through it with you. We go through everything that we found and what's going to handle that for you and any questions or concerns that you would have. Um, so yeah, that's a specific program that we would put together for you. And if you'd like to work with us, I will put the website in the comments there for anybody who's interested. And yeah, please go to that if you want to find out any more information. So I hope you found this valuable. And if you think it would be helpful to someone you know, please share that. Please share this with them. We'd really appreciate that. Now, let me just double check one more questions or comments here. Okay, I think that's about it. So again, please share this if you found it valuable. And I'm Amanda Golightly. Have a great day.